Your motorcycle broke down, so you pulled over to the right and stopped. No problem. The riders passing by will likely stop to check on you. They'll ask, "What's the problem? How can we help?" Take a good look at that rider. If you think, "What a helpful person," you might want to think again. Because the rider who stopped for you didn't stop to help you. And once you learn the real reason they stopped, your perspective on the brotherhood of motorcyclists might change. But before that, let's start with why we feel like brothers as motorcyclists. 1. Why a stranger on two wheels feels like a brother. You're riding your bike on the highway. You see a motorcyclist having trouble with a car driver. Even if they're a stranger, you feel compelled to stop out of curiosity. You feel like the motorcyclist is one of us, even if they're a stranger. You might be thinking, "What does this have to do with motorcycles? I don't like seeing people argue." Well, then consider this. This time, you're not on your motorcycle. You're driving on the highway in your car. You're comfortable. The AC is running. You're safe inside your car. This time, a driver in front of you is having trouble. Do you stop, or do you keep going? When a driver is having trouble, most people aren't as concerned as they would be on a motorcycle. And that's really strange. Why does riding on two wheels instead of four make you feel like a stranger is your brother? Even I feel like stopping when I see a stranded biker. But I don't feel that way in a car. At the University of Texas at Austin, it was observed that people who share a common risk begin to see each other as siblings over time. Think about it. You're in a car, you've got airbags, the AC is running, the doors are locked. Even if you break down, you can wait for a tow truck. But for a motorcycle, none of that applies. We all know that, and this creates an invisible bond among motorcycle riders that car drivers don't have. You don't know that scooter rider. But when you see them on the side of the road, you help them. Because we're taking the same risk. That makes us brothers. 2. The ancient anger you feel when a rider doesn't stop. Have you ever felt angry at a motorcyclist who just rides past you when you're stranded on the road? When you break down in a car, you don't really care about the cars passing by. But when you break down on a motorcycle, it bothers you when other riders don't stop to help. Yet both are strangers, independent of you. But for some reason, it really gets under your skin when riders don't stop. Have you ever wondered why? You probably just thought it was disrespectful, and that's why you got angry. But there's a much deeper psychology behind it. So deep, in fact, that even your ancestors from tens of thousands of years ago were influenced by the same psychology. Think about your ancestor from tens of thousands of years ago. He's hunting with his friends. They face dangers together. They light their fire together. They gather fruit together. The people he takes risks with are like brothers to him, as I mentioned in the previous section. But suddenly one of those people chooses not to help him in his time of need. What would he think? Would he show understanding? Of course, he'd think the person was a traitor, and this mechanism has remained exactly the same for thousands of years. Today, when you break down on the road with your motorcycle, a fellow rider who shares the same risk simply rides past you. And even if it doesn't make sense, you feel the same ancient anger. This isn't logic, it's biology. 3. Why motorcyclists greet each other but car drivers don't. There was something that really surprised me when I got my bike. Strangers I'd never met would honk at me and wave. I wondered, do they know me? No, we didn't know each other because almost every motorcyclist was honking. Later, I learned that motorcyclists greet each other. If you've experienced a moment like this, you're not alone. Some people attribute this to encountering polite people, but we almost never see this behavior among car drivers. Personally, I've never seen car drivers do this to one another, and the psychology behind this greeting might just put a smile on your face. Because for most motorcyclists, their bikes aren't just a mode of transportation, they're an identity. And when they exchange greetings with other riders, they feel the same connection, a group, an identity, a community. The main mechanism driving this is, just like in other contexts, the fact that they share the same risk together. Car drivers don't share that risk, so two strangers in cars won't wave to each other. But motorcyclists do. And hey, if you love how motorcyclists are like brothers, hit the like and subscribe buttons. That's the only way we can reach more motorcyclists. 4. How your brain decides to help in seconds. Yes, motorcyclists help other motorcyclists. They wave. They honk. We get it. But how does this mechanism actually work? I'm not talking about the actions we take. What's really going on in the background in our brains? If you think it's a complicated mechanism, you're wrong. Because, according to social identity theory, the brain works in 3 steps. Categorize, motorcyclist, or car driver. Identify with them. I'm a motorcyclist. And compare. We're different from them. You see a motorcyclist, and your brain says, that's one of us. Race, income, or age don't matter. But that still doesn't explain why we help someone who's broken down on the road. Here's the thing. The neurons in your brain called mirror neurons fire, whether you're the one stranded on the road or you see someone else stranded. It doesn't matter. You probably feel that same discomfort when you see someone stranded, as if you were the one stranded. That sun beating down on your head, that exhaustion weighing on your body. You feel compelled to help because you now feel that discomfort. 5. Why brand and cc don't matter when a rider is in trouble. Have you ever wondered why a rider with a higher cc bike looks down on a rider with a lower cc bike, as if they were on a lower tier? One person loves choppers, another tears through the wind on a racing bike, another shows off on the streets on a naked bike. But still, whenever a motorcyclist is in trouble, whether they're riding a 125cc scooter or a 1000cc racing bike, every rider rushes to help them. The difference in cc or brand only matters until the trouble begins. And that help doesn't end there. It turns into a chain reaction. You help a rider, and they go help someone else. Then the person they helped helps someone else. So the chain never breaks. Everyone on 2 wheels is one of us. 6. The real reason that riders stopped for you. I told you at the beginning of the video that riders didn't stop to help you. Did you wonder what the real reason was? After I actually learned it, I had to rethink this biker brotherhood a bit. You're probably thinking that, as mentioned in the previous point, they help to relieve their own discomfort. Actually, the situation is more interesting than that, and so interesting that once you learn it, you might even want to help other motorcyclists yourself. At the National Institutes of Health, the brains of people who help others were scanned. When a motorcyclist stops to help someone else, their brain releases dopamine, endorphins, and oxytocin, just like after eating a delicious meal or maybe even making money. So when you help a stranded biker, you genuinely feel amazing. As amazing as if you'd accomplished something. You enjoy that feeling, and whenever someone else breaks down, you always want to help them. Your real goal isn't to help them. It's to feel good about yourself. But it still makes you part of a brotherhood. You're a kind, helpful part of the biker brotherhood. So the next time you see a motorcyclist who's broken down, stop. You won't just be helping them. You'll be helping yourself too. And you'll be a link in that chain. That chain started long before you, and it will continue long after, because that's what being a rider really means.